Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and my podcast, Helping Other People Evolve. My mission and vision with Hope is just this. I hope that hearing somebody's story will be able to help you to get out of bed that day or walk outside that day or just know that you're not alone in your struggle. We all go through struggles. We all have a journey that we go on. And a lot of times, I feel like people feel like they're all alone in their struggles and no one else has went through that struggle or is going to that struggle. Well, people that share their stories on my podcast are people that have been through struggles and fortunately have gotten to struggles, and my light just went off and I'm not going to mess with it. Um, and so I just hope that you can hear a story and it'll help you get out of bed that day or help you realize that you're not alone in your struggle. Now, sometimes I do a podcast on my own, and that's what you're getting tonight. It's been a minute again. I last time it been a minute, I said it wasn't going to be a minute again, and here I am again. I sometimes life just comes at you, right? And it comes at you hard. And then you're doing things and you're busy, and then things get put on the back burner, things that are important that shouldn't be put on the back burner, like your podcast. I've been wanting to do this episode for about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks now. And every time something just stopped me. So I know that timing is everything. I believe in whatever you believe. I believe in God. I believe my faith. I believe that He directs me and lets me know when the good time is to do it and when not. And tonight, this episode is means a lot to me. It's a lot in my heart. It's a lot in my soul. It's been something that I've experienced a lot of, and it's something that I want to share with others. It's a reminder. It's a reminder of how quick life can change, not just by death, not just by a divorce, not just by losing a house, not just by getting injured, but life can change in an instant. It was probably about 3 weeks ago here locally in the Toledo area. There was an accident on the turnpike near us. And I remember waking up, and I don't really watch the news much. I try not to because I think it's depressing, and I think a lot of it is lies, and I think a lot of it is just trying to get people upset and against each other, and that's just not my thing. So I always try to keep positivity, but I do see news and I do know what's going on. And there was an accident on the turnpike, and it had said that there was, I think it was actually ended up being three accidents, and three people were fatally injured in the accident, and many were life flighted to local hospitals, it said. And then a little later that day, I read that there was four people that passed away in the accident, and one was a child that was, I think, 9 years old. Don't quote me on the ages and stuff. But in the morning time when I heard about that accident, I was like, man, so many lives just changed in an instant. In 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 an instant, not just the people that passed away, not just the truck drivers that were in the accident, not just the automobile car drivers that were in the accident or passengers or whatever, but think of all the lives that changed in that instant, whether it was the hospital that they had to get more people on staff because of all of these injuries, the stress of that, of some of the people that work there. Maybe it was somebody they knew that was in the accident that changed their life. And so many lives were changed in that instant. And I think a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, we go through life, right? Like, yes, we enjoy life, and yes, we go through our days, but we seem to forget that we're not invincible. We seem to forget how quick life can change. Shortly after that, there was a young man that was shot and killed here in Toledo, which was a friend of mine's nephew. And then shortly after that, there was another young man that was shot and killed here, who was another friend of mine's nephew. When I say this, it's because I network, so I know a lot of people. During that time, also, there was a young man that went to a young boy, I should say, I think he was 11, that he actually worked out at the gym that I worked out at with my trainer in the little dogs group that he has, that he works with the kids. And it's just a great thing that he does. But this little boy climbed a fence at a local pool and unfortunately drowned. And he was hospitalized for a few days, but he ended up passing away. And through all of these days of listening to this and seeing this, I just couldn't bring it about myself to come on here. But at the same time, I wanted to remind people, like, this life that we have, this life that we live every day is such a gift. And I think we take it for granted a lot. I I do too. I know I do. You know, I try to live my best life. I try to be the happy person out there. I try to be the hope dealer. I dance a lot. I have a lot of fun. I like to show people that you can be sober and still live life. I like to show people that you can go through struggles and still have a great life. But sometimes I take things for granted. And I was just talking to my friend Cheryl about this today because some of you know my story, some of you don't. If you don't, maybe go way back to episode 1, you'll hear it. Maybe not. Maybe I'll retell it again soon. But you know, I've had a life, right? And I was talking to her today, and I said the other day I was took a friend of mine, her car was broke down, so I took her and her kids to Walmart. They needed to do some grocery shopping. And as I was sitting in this parking lot, I always say that God gives me reminders of things just so I never forget, because I don't ever want to forget the things that I went through, because I don't live in the past. I don't let the past be a prisoner. I'm not a prisoner of my past, but I do like to recall and reflect on how far I've came, right? And a car pulled up and it was kind of loud, and I could tell that it didn't run well, and it was missing some of the hubcaps. I remember my stepdad growing up, that used to drive him crazy if you were missing a hubcap. But I looked at that car and I was like, man, I remember those days. I remember the days that I had to drive a little beat up car. I remember a day that I drove cars that had holes in the floorboard. I remember days that I drove a car that we had to start with screwdrivers. I remember those days. I'll never forget those days. And I'm so grateful for the car that I have now. I drive a beautiful Jeep Gladiator that I love. I've been driving nicer cars for quite a few years now, but I do remember. And I feel like we forget our blessings. We forget the things that we're blessed with. Um, you know, I was telling her today too, like, I think back, and this is way before I had Chad and Cody. So we're going to say like 1986, 87, when I started whatever relationship with their dad that I was going to change. But I remember my parents did not like him at all, which they had every right to not. But I was going to change him. And he wasn't allowed over at my parents' house. And we would sneak into his parents' house every once in a while if we were out in the freezing cold or something. But basically, we were homeless. I was homeless. Like, it was terrible. We lived at a friend's house for a little while that was in a terrible neighborhood that I was so naive to. I had no idea what was going on. We had cockroaches running across the floor. We had slept on the floor, lucky if you could take a shower, had no money, all of these things. I still worked, which I always did through all of it, but he'd find a way to spend my money, which was my fault. I mean, I'm not blaming him. He definitely knew how to manipulate me. But I remember that, right? And I'm so grateful now. Look, I have my beautiful Hope sign behind me. I have a house that I rent that I just love. I have my crosses on my wall. I have all of these things that I have to remember to be grateful for. And when I'm having a day, which I have days, right? We all have days. Anybody that says they don't have a day, I think that they might be fibbing a little bit, because we all have days. I have a friend of mine that he says that he doesn't really have bad days because he remembers his worst day. And I can relate to that a lot. Like, I can remember my worst day ever. My worst day of my entire existence on this planet Earth was the morning I walked in and my baby was in a crib, not breathing and turning a shade of blue. It was the worst day of my entire existence on this planet Earth. I try not to get emotional, but that's a tough one, right? So when he said that, I get that, right? If I'm having a bad day or a bad moment, I think to myself, man, is this as bad as that day? Of course not. Nothing could ever be as bad as that day. But I still have days. And whew, okay. I still have days, and those days aren't as hard as that day, but days can be hard still. And so then I have to think of the tools that I've used throughout the years to get me out of that bad day. Today was a day. I had a day today. It wasn't a horrible day. I just didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't feel like going to the gym. I didn't really feel like picking up at my house. I didn't feel like putting the load of laundry in the washer. And there was no real reason why. I just feel like my emotions were going crazy today, and I was just not feeling it. But if I chose, actually, yesterday I wasn't feeling it yesterday either. I didn't really do much yesterday. And thankfully, I went to Costco and was able to go out to lunch with my dinner with my son Chad. But if I wouldn't have done that, if I wouldn't have been running out of toilet paper, I probably wouldn't have went to Costco. So then I was going to have a ripple effect, right? Because I was going to stay at home yesterday and really, I did my dishes. I didn't really do anything else that I needed to do, like a podcast. And then it rolled into today, and I got up today and I did a few things, but I didn't do everything that I wanted to do. And then it's Monday, so I go to the gym on Monday, but I didn't really feel like going to the gym. And it's Labor Day, and I was like, "Are you working out today?" That's what I messaged my trainer, and he's like, "Yep, 4 o'clock, be there." And I was like, "Oh, yes, I'll be there." And I was like, "Yes, that's great. I'll be there." And I sat here and I just was like, maybe I won't go to the gym. And at the end of the day, if I would have not went to the gym today, if I would not have done this podcast today, then tomorrow, which I have to go to work, I would have got up, I would have went to work, but I would have been mad at myself for not doing the things that I said I was going to do. So that puts it back into the perspective of things, right? Because if I would have laid in bed today, did nothing, didn't go to the gym, picked up a few things, whatever, didn't do my laundry. Tomorrow I'd be shuffling around trying to figure out how am I going to go to work without clean laundry. But it would have went into tomorrow, and then it would have went into the next day, and then into the next day. And then every day it gets harder and harder because you're putting it off, or you're laying in bed, or you're not working on your mindset, or you're not trying to figure out what's going on, what's bothering you, and why you're not moving forward. And it all comes down to us, right? Today at the gym, my trainer said this to me because I told him when I got there, I was like, man, I was talking myself again, coming. And he was there a couple minutes late. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just walk on the treadmill for half a mile and then he won't be here and I'll just leave. Well, he walked in right when I was getting done on the treadmill. But he said to me at the end of my workout, which I worked out hard and took a lot to do it, but I did it, right? I got there, I did it, I pushed myself. But he said to me at the end, he said, Tammy, was it your head or your body that didn't want you to come to the gym? And I had to sit and think about that for a minute. And it takes me a lot to even say that I really didn't want to be here today. I really just wanted to stay at home. And that's okay sometimes if you don't want to go to the gym and you want to stay home. I'm not telling anybody to not do things, but for me, it's not okay. And I know that because I love working out. I love what it's doing for me. I'm at an age that I think it's very important that I continue to work out. So when he said that to me, was it your head or was it your body? And I could have said, well, it was my body. My lower back's hurt me a little bit. Wasn't really feeling it. I started getting a little bit of headache. So I thought I really wasn't, but it was sounded like a good idea. Um, and I looked at him and I could have blamed my body. But in all honesty, it had nothing to do with my body. At the end of the day, I feel like anything that I stop myself from doing, or I have myself doing, it's all here. It's all in my head, right? Our mind has so much control over everything. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I listen to a lot of inspiration. I listen to a lot of I listen to a lot of stuff. Let's just say that, okay. I never want to rattle on here. I know that your time is valuable, but I listen to a lot, and sometimes I need to listen to somebody like a pastor like a Joyce Myers. Sometimes I have to listen to a Stephen Furtick, kind of a little coddling, or he doesn't coddle, but straight facts, right? And sometimes I need to have that in your face, that in your face, David Goggins, like, girl, listen, you better control that mind or that mind's going to control you. And it's one of the things that has stuck with me for a very long time that I learned from him. Like, you can either let your mind control you or you can control your mind. And it sounds kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. But if you really sit and think about it, we let those voices in our head, right? We let those voices in our head control so much. And I remember I was speaking to somebody, a friend of mine, Derek Gant, actually, he was on one of my podcasts one time. And he said to me, we were talking about me writing my book, which I'm working on right now. Haven't really worked on it in a few weeks. Why? I don't know. I keep procrastinating, I guess. Do you love it that I can just be real with you? Because I love it that I can just be real with you because this is who I am. I never bullshit about who I am. I'm gonna tell you straight up facts. Um, but anyways, one day he was talking to me about like going on tour and doing all this stuff with my book, right? And he said, "What is stopping you from doing anything to motivational to motivate other people or be an inspiration to other people?" And I said, "Well, said devil, he gets in my ear and he starts whispering to me like, what makes you think you're good enough? What makes you think that you can do that? What makes you think people will even listen to you?" And he said to me, and I'll never forget it. He said, "Oh, yeah?" He said, "Well, the problem is you're listening to the little devil." And I was like, "God dang it. You're right. That's the problem. I'm listening." Basically, it's not even a little devil in my ear, it's my own thoughts. It's my own crazy thoughts that get in there that say the dumbest things to me. I tell people I have a little picture in my bathroom of me when I was like, I don't know, 8 years old. I say it's why I was always so confused because it's a dress that says yes, no, yes, no. And I said, well, my mom confused me when I was really young. Like, I didn't know, yes or no, yes or no. But anyways, I have that little picture sitting in my bathroom. So when I get ready in the morning and brush my teeth, I always look over at that little picture and think, oh, she was kind of cute. Actually, she was really cute. But I think to myself, when I start getting those thoughts in my head, you're not good enough. What makes you think you're worthy? You really think that smile looks good? Just the things that you say to yourself. Yes, your forehead's high, but it doesn't look that bad. I used to be like, man, my forehead's so high, I hate it. And I think to myself, would I say the things like that to that little girl right there? No, absolutely not. I don't even like it when somebody says something to a little child that I know might affect them later in life because it happened to me, right? We got to watch what we say to the kids. So when I think about my mindset, I know that I am the one who is in control of it. And if I don't control it, it controls me. It'll tell me things like, oh, you don't need to get up and go to church today, let's just say, or you don't even need to listen to anything on a video. I make myself every single morning listen to something that's inspiring, something that's good. I wake up with gratitude every day. I say my prayer every day. There's a book that my friend Danelle Delgado has. It's called I Choose Joy. And that book is grace, growth, gratitude, and goals. Right. Yeah. And so every morning, write in that book, right? The things that I'm happy for, the things that I'm grateful for, the goals that I have. And if I don't do that, it can start my day off on a whirlwind of trying to recollect and get better. Right. So when I say this about life can change in an instant, it can change in an instant and things can happen in a moment. Another friend of mine, she twisted her foot, knee, her meniscus, I think she tore or something, just getting out of a boat, and her one foot stayed in the sand and the other one twisted. Now she's in this contraption and she's got to get surgery and they're putting a cadaver in there and just all of this stuff from one little instant. So what I ask you about this is this: life can change in an instant, right? Things happen in a moment. What do we do to make sure we are prepared mentally for things to happen? Now, I'm not saying that, just for me, if somebody passes away that I know, which I've lost a lot of people in my life, so I feel like I am highly qualified, unfortunately, to talk about this, right? I've lost mom, dad, grandma, grandpas, aunts, uncles. I've lost the whole shebang of people, like best friends, really good friends, children. I've lost children. And so I think I can speak highly on this. I'm not saying that is something that drastically changes your life in an instant, like a death of someone, that you should just move on and everything's fine. You're going to grieve, you're going to go through the process. But if you are being true to yourself and learning who you are and how to get through these things, your life is going to be so much better. I promise you. I can say this with 100% assurance that you will get through it. I was talking to a friend today, and we were talking about. Actually, he was on my podcast too, but I won't mention his name just because I don't want to talk about people on here. I did talk about Derek Camp, but that was different. But we were talking today, and he said something about him being happy, and his daughter has passed away and her birthday's coming up, and he said, I don't know that I deserve to be happy because she's not here. And my reply to that was this, and you may think it's a good reply or not, I don't know, this is just me, this is my opinion. When we're here on this planet Earth, right, for a short time, a long time, God only knows our time, right? We might be here for 6 months like my little baby was, or we might be here till you're 100 like I'm going to be. I like to believe that. I'm like, don't you dare take me out before I'm 100. Don't do it to me when I'm 99 and a half. I will be so sad. But anyways, we don't know when we're going to go. But guess what? The facts are the facts are the facts. We're all going to go someday, right? Whenever our time, our purpose, whatever it is that we think it is, we go, right? But when we go, we don't want our family and friends and everybody to be miserable about it. We don't. I know that. I know that my baby up in heaven, who was only 6.5 months old, so he didn't really, I'm sure he's up there, it's a whole different thing, but um or my mom or my uncles or my best friends, they're not up there or in heaven saying, you better be sad every day of your life because I'm gone. No, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to continue to live our life and live our life more for them, right? Live our life in memory of them. Live our life and be happy that we're still here. Be happy that we had the memories that we had with them, and be happy that we're able to share who we are and who they were. That's one thing that's so important to me, is sharing that. I talk about little God winks a lot, right? And when my mom was passing away, I'll tell a little bit about the story. It happened in an instant, really. She was in a hospital for quite a while, but never deathly ill. Well, one time they did put her on a ventilator. She was sepsis, and she was so mad at me because she was a DNR, do not resuscitate yet. DNR, I always say it wrong, but I was out in Arizona at the time, and she was so mad, but they didn't have her paperwork. But anyways, we were happy because she lived longer, right? But I remember she was in the hospital for a few weeks. She had a little bit of pneumonia, COPD, was doing okay, and she ended up unfortunately getting COVID in the hospital. And brought her home on a Thursday, took her Friday to get retested to see if she really had it, because it was like one of those false negative. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that whole thing. But anyways, Friday night, she wasn't doing well at all. Saturday, they came in, changed her, cleaned her up, did all that. I was like, listen, I can't lift her. We have to figure out something else, because my mom weighed quite a bit. Quite a bit for me. Right now, I'm like pressing that stuff, doing deadlifts of more than what my mom weighed. I was doing hip thrusts today that were like, whoo. But anyways, I Saturday she was doing really good, and then Sunday she turned for the worse, and I couldn't get her oxygen over. Whew. 40. So we put her in hospice that day, and the following day, she passed away. She got to see everybody. She got to see my sister was out of town. She came back in town. She got back that day. My niece and nephew, my nephews came and visited her. My niece came and visited her. Chad came and visited her through the windows. But anyways, back to the story of God Weeks, right? And knowing that our friends and family and loved ones might not be with us in the flesh, but they're always showing us signs. So before she passed, my sister and niece went in and saw her, and you were only supposed to have two people, and that was it for the day. And I let them go because I had spent time with her the day before and all weekend actually. And when I went and visited, and I called in to let the nurse that I know that I was leaving, and she said, "You can go ahead and come in just for a couple minutes." I said, "Thank you." So I went in. Ooh, I went in, and my mom was breathing very shallow. She had that gurgle, and I knew that she just wanted to go. And but she now she's like probably was like, "Why'd you let her come in here? I was ready to go, but I'm not gonna go in front of my daughter." Well, I whispered in her ear and I said this. For any of you that know me or don't know me, I'm a little afraid of birds, okay? It's my thing. I have a fear of birds. It's terrible. I need to get over it. Maybe I'll get hypnotized or something. I don't know. Even a bird this little, like 2 inches, I'm still afraid of them. But anyways, I whispered in my mom's ear and I said, "Mom, do me a favor." They say people are always like, "Oh, I saw a cardinal. It reminded me of my loved one." I don't want to see you as a cardinal. Thank you very much, because I'm petrified of birds. But I would love it if when you come to visit me, however it is, whatever you want to say, your little signs. I don't really think that they're a cardinal. I just think that's a sign that they're thinking of you or they're around. Would you come as a butterfly? And that was what I said to her. Well, like I said, she wasn't going to pass when I was there at hospice, and we got in my car truck and drove home. And the lady said, "I'll call you. I will be here with her. I promise you, I won't leave her." And I know that hospice. I know a lot of hospice nurses, and I know that they don't. And I got home, and my sister and I went out on the back deck, and the phone rang. I picked it up, and she said, "Tammy, I just want you to know that your mom just passed peacefully." Whew. These are the hard days. When she said that, I promise this is the truth. My sister and I were standing there, and a monarch butterfly just flew by. Now, coincidence? I don't know. Did I think that it was my mom saying, "Hey, everything's going to be all right"? So, back to the signs of things that I was talking about. I hope you guys don't think I'm babbling, because I'm just trying to get things in perspective here of like how fast life can change, but how we need to figure out how to get through these things in life that change. And so I always look for signs. I see signs, my friend Josh, I hear music that reminds me of him. I see there's just so many signs of different things that I have. My friend Christy that was murdered by her ex-husband to be, memories come on, the song, with Adam Levine, and Shallow comes on, and I think of her, and it's always at those moments that I need it. Um, so I got ordained a few years ago to do Chad's sister Heather, my bonus daughter's wedding. So now I just did my fourth wedding the other day, and I was standing outside. It was just a little wedding, and I'm standing out there, and the groom's there, Rob, and I'm talking to him a little bit. We're waiting for her to come out of the house, and all of a sudden, here comes this monarch butterfly. And yeah, I know it's butterfly season. I get it. Somebody might be like, "Well, Tammy, it's butterfly season." Well, I don't give a shit what you say. I know it was my mom giving me a sign. So here comes this little monarch butterfly, and it flies, and it just lands, and it's like, okay, I get it's butterfly season and I get this, but it doesn't land right by me on the electrical wire just to hang out there for a minute and then just go away. And I know exactly why. It was just my mom, like, hey, this is awesome what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. So when I talk about the things in life that can change in an instant, we have to learn how to react in an instant and not react in a bad way. Life's hard. I get it. But I also get that we can get through these things. You have to figure out the tools that you need. You have to figure out how you're going to get through them. I am I- I'm a believer in God 100%. I have complete faith in him 100%. I just did my last when I did my solo one, I talked about my son Chad and hearing those words from them doctors that we have to do surgery right now or he could die and he could possibly still lose his eye. To hear those words and then know how you're going to react to that, I've learned. I've learned a lot in life. I've learned a lot of lessons in life. I've learned a lot of how to not react and how to react. When I react to something like that, it is immediately going to God and having faith that everything is going to be okay, no matter what. And maybe it's not the way that I think it's going to turn out, but at the same time, I have no control over it. So I have to believe in that faith and know that, yeah, life's going to hit and things can change in an instant. You could lose your job in an instant. You could lose all your money in an instant. You could lose your house in an instant. You could lose your car in an instant. You could lose your thumb in an instant. You could lose your hand. You could lose your foot. There's so many things that can happen in an instant. But you could also get a raise in an instant. You could also get a new job that you've been waiting for in an instant. You could also move to a new place that you've been wanting to go to in an instant. So many things can happen, good and bad, in an instant. But we have to learn how to react to those things and learn how to get through these things. That's what I'm here about. I'm just here to offer hope, offer strength, know that I have a good listening ear. I might not ever have any advice for you. I might just have a listening ear. But at the same time, I think that we, all of us, are on this earth to not fight like people do, to not kill each other like people do, to not be put against each other like it seems like our media likes us to do. We're put on this earth to serve, to be kind, to love one another. That's what we're here for. And I am going to make sure that no matter what, whenever it is my time goes, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's the next day, next week, next year, when I'm 100, not 99, 100, that I am remembered as being a light in this world. I am remembered as being kind. I am remembered as being loving. I want to make sure that everybody knows that I chose nothing but to bring joy to this world. Life happens. I get it. And life changes in an instant. Do I think that if my arm gets broke tomorrow, it's going to be the best day ever? No. But am I going to figure out a way to get through it? Yeah, I'm going to have to, right? Because I don't have a choice. I can lay around and mope about it, or I can get up and do something about it. So I think I've probably talked long enough to you guys. I don't even know how long I've been on here. I just know that I needed to do this podcast because it's been heavy on my heart because I watched a lot of things happen in the last 3 weeks of lives being taken shamelessly for no reason at all. I've seen accidents happen. I watch people drive on the highway like crazy. Like you have a 3,000-pound vehicle. Get off your phone. You have a 3,000-pound vehicle. Stop leaving it out of traffic like you're, I don't even know what you are because it's crazy. But people need to slow down. I know life's fast, right? Things are happening. Like your kids are in school. This is happening. This is happening. I'm trying to figure out how it went from February 1st to September 2nd in an instant. I'm trying to figure it out still, literally. Like, where did the time go? Well, the time goes so quick because we're so busy. So stop, pause, enjoy the moments, enjoy the time you have with your kids because that is the most special time for you and your kids. Yeah, they might get on your nerves a little bit. Quit yelling at them so much. They're kids. Remember when you were a kid, would you yell at yourself? Take some pictures of yourself when you were little. Put it on a wall. Hang it up. when you go to yell at your kid, like scream, like for no reason really, maybe look at that picture and be like, man, would I yell at me like that? Think about those things. Life's short, you guys. We're not promised anything. We're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised our eyesight. We're not promised to be able to taste anything, hear anything, smell anything. We're not promised anything. So what we need to start doing is enjoying what we have and be grateful for what we have and learn how to get through the struggles and learn that we don't want to lay in bed all day and just wallow in our sorrows because that's going to do nobody any good. People want you in their life. People want happy people in their life. People don't want no negative Nellies, no Debbie Downers, no, oh, woe is me. You don't understand what I've been through. We don't need those in our life because guess what? I probably can look at you and say, you don't know what I've been through. But at the end of the day, sitting and playing victim to what I've been through does nobody any good. And it'll only make me die quicker. And I want to live till I'm 100. So, anyways, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Hope. Whenever you tune in, it just makes my heart so happy when I see the people that have tuned in, the downloads that I've had. I really appreciate it. I have a YouTube channel, and my one friend started a podcast after I did, and he's got like 6,000 subscribers, and I think I have 189 subscribers. So if you'd like to go subscribe to my Hope podcast, it's on my YouTube channel, and it's Tammy Lynn, one N, Connors, Connors. It's the same as all my social medias. The only thing that's different is my Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Audibles are all Hope. H period, O period, P period, E period, helping other people evolve. And that's just what I like to do. I just like to help people to have a better life, to help people know that they don't struggle alone. My friend Chris always tells me, like, Tammy, don't forget to tell me you have a Patreon. So I have a Patreon. It's Tammy Lynn Connors. If you feel like ever donating a little bit of money, just to help out with some of the things that I do, like my Nights of Hope and things like that. And, you could subscribe for like $1 a month or something like that. And it just helps a little bit. Like and subscribe to all of these. Share this with someone that you might think needs to hear it. Just share it anywhere you want. I love, love, love connecting with people. I've had a few people tell me that I'm the best networker out there. I know people all over the country, all over the world. I just love people. I just love being a light in the world. And I love all of you tuning in and just listening to what I have to say and listening to the other stories of others. I have a great lineup coming up. Some that have been on here before that are coming back to share a little bit more of their journey. Some that have never been on here before. So stay tuned. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your kindness. I will continue to be the light. I will continue to be kind. I will continue to share joy, and I will continue to share love. Have a great, great day, whatever day it is you're listening to this. And maybe it was just something that you really needed to hear today. I'd love to hear your feedback. You guys all stay awesome, and we will chat at you very soon. Thank you.